I burn like a cannonball, and you see me standing there, the guns and the booze. Rage! She gonna make me rage! She gonna make me too! Rage! You make me want to! Rage! You make me want to! Return the hate! You make me want to! Rage! You gotta make me rage! 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 Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on!
What up, what up? Getting a late start, but we're doing some more editing. Alright.
That crosses over.
Yep.
I digress.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It is kind of unfair though, because they didn't blame Comcast Spectator. They blamed you. They said, oh, the people on XPlay, look, they're not fun.
I digress.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It is kind of unfair though, because they didn't blame Comcast Spectator. They blamed you. They said, oh, the people on XPlay, look, they're not funny. Oh, look, they only want to cover old games. Oh, they're so terrible. I'm like, some of this is a little hard to believe, because I know, for example, Gerard is there. That's what he does YouTube full time, so he's always doing something kind of similar to this. Adam Sessler maybe he doesn't have a lot of experience with YouTube and stuff now, but you know, he's an old warhorse. You know, he knows how some of this works back in the day. Of course, your experience, so that didn't kind of shake out. But what you're telling me is one of the big problems is that you guys just had too many things to fill, and when you were desperate for trying to fill things, you know, quality sometimes goes down.
It was also kind of.
One of the big problems is that you guys just had too sometimes goes down.
It's also you know, because the movie was like so cutting edge, changed for the there, people change everything. He was going to change every single time, every week. They'd be so nobody knew like it actually. So how much money that we get up for things should be possible, and we don't have something that's done for it. So in terms of like, we're like, okay, what are we going to do for local provider fit situations that like choose like we don't able to have some number of apps that's not restricted, you know, like in an ideal situation.
I know you may not have known this, but this is a slur for my people. It's almost like we need to stop running around and saying people need to
that the old XPlay, the reviews looks like the teachers say, oh, well,
and if you're not willing to fucking educate yourself and learn about their history, don't fucking expect them to care about you, motherfucker. And
that's a lot of work.
Because people set these rules, but they're not gonna fucking follow. So how about this? Everybody
long videos. And so the team and the writers are saying, no, we don't have the time to.
That's a lot of work.
the only people that exist.
make that
Yeah.
content. But
As much as
oh,
you like to bitch about something that you care about, there are other people who are gonna bitch about the exact same thing.
team and the writers are saying, no, we don't. We don't have the time to like
That's a lot of work.
Fuck out the way.
make that
Yeah.
content.
You're telling the indigenous community that a word they consider a derogatory slur is not a slur? Because that's crazy. I think a lot of us were unaware of myself.
But the higher up, like, you have to get into a scenario where you have like people sitting on the bench trying to fill time talking shit, but I think definitely
Children, I used to do this thing called e-word kisses. I would rub my nose to theirs.
talking about.
Sweet and cute thing that I did. But now what I'm doing with those same 4 children, all of whom are pretty much grown, is telling them, hey, guess what? Did you know that this is actually a derogatory slur and that we don't use that word anymore? Because that's what we do, right?
Yeah, that's what I'd be talking about.
It's crazy. So what kind of work hours were you doing when you were with G4? Like, well, what was your day-to-day like? I'm sure you were probably pretty afraid to try to beat all that three.
Yeah.
Try to beat all that three.
Or drastic take. Just start busting out the slurs. Either none of them are okay,
It did help that there was like shade.
there would be any ramifications of any content dealing with it. But in the meantime, subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next one. And remember,
Okay.
consistency.
There are
God fucking damn it.
Surrounded by a bunch of motherfuckers who don't know how to work.
Okay.
there are
This Obsidian Entertainment situation is
not
ending.
you can read that song really
Now we have the original stating that his content should be sued for higher education. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of
so doing like writing, editing, and producing.
that company saying, burn them to the ground. They are awful people. Man, there's no boring days in the game industry, are there? Hit that subscribe if you like, and check out smashbt.com for the full and exhaustive article going through Chris Outlow's
Problems is that you guys just had too many things to fill, and when you were desperate for trying to fill things, you know, quality sometimes goes down.
It was also kind of evergreen content. You know, if because the runway window is like so tight and it's changing so often, because for the entirety that I worked there, the budget for what each team was given changed every single time. Like every week, they'd either be like, they're slashing our budget, they're increasing our budget. So no one even knew from like the executive producer level how much money that we would get to spend on X number of show. So you're like, how can I make something as cheap as possible? And the reason why there were so many older games done before is because that's safe, evergreen content. So in terms of like emergency mode, they're like, okay, just whatever game that you've ever loved, write a review for it, write a discussion for it. And they loved discussions because that's like cheap way for them to fill airtime. But we're like, there's nothing really to, we don't want to sit in a circle and talk like, but we all knew. And it was just like, we have to get this number of hours. And then, you know, that's multiple conversations of, you know, like, we shouldn't, I mean, there's so many problems. In an ideal situation, you have long-form videos that are educational based on YouTube, and that you have interactive shows that are more about cutting edge and reviewing like new reviews, having game developers come on and doing like live interviews for Twitch. And then for linear, that you would have a very high polished, at one point, Abby, Danny, and I pitched like a last week tonight style of thing where we would have like really heavy, in-depth researched things, and then we'd bookend it by reviews. Because also one of the other big issues is that the old X-Play, the reviews used to be about like 2 to 5 minutes. They're very short, and now our reviews mandatory had to be like 15, and they're like, we really want 30-minute long videos. And so the team and the writers are saying, no, we don't. We don't have the time to like,
That's a lot of work.
make that
Yeah.
content. But the higher ups are like, you have to do it, and that's how you get a scenario where you just have like 3 people sitting around on a couch trying to fill time talking about shit that they definitely don't want to be talking about.
That is crazy. So what kind of work hours were you doing when you were with G4? Like what was your day-to-day like? I'm sure you were probably pretty afraid to try to beat all that 3.
Yeah, it did help that they didn't. Okay, so this is like, I'm not meaning it as shade.
Okay.
There are some talent members who just kind of show up and read the script that's given to them, and that they really over-index on their responsibilities as just being like the person in front of the camera. That is like not ever, again, I didn't come from like a traditional broadcast perspective. I came from like I'm really into this thing, and so now we gotta like build it from the top down. So like for things like Farming Simulator, I think was like one of the first reviews that I ever got to do for XPlay, and I was like super nervous about it. I wrote like that entire script. It was like a 25-page script, and then I worked with Abby to like trim it down. As far as I know, Corey and I were the only, so TBH and I were the only writers or the only talent who also wrote our own segments. I think everyone else, from what I observed, would like sometimes give input notes, but wasn't also doing like writing, editing, and producing.
Which is interesting. I think part of that, I'm just guessing here, but it seems like the mixed signals, it's like, is this broadcast? Is this more streaming? Like you said, from where you come from, you work on everything. You go, it's your baby, you watch it, you're kind of at expectation, everyone pitch in. People though that might have a more TV, an older style view with TV production, they might think, oh, I'm in like the weatherman. I just kind of show up, I do my little bit, and then the rest is your problem. You deal with it.
Yeah,
Right.
and no, you'd see that.
You work on everything. You go, it's your baby, you watch it, you're kind of at expectation, everyone pitch in. People though that might have a more TV, an older style view with TV production, they might think, oh, I'm in like the weatherman. I just kind of show up, I do my little bit, and then the rest is your problem. You deal with it.
I hope you agree. And these tweets went absolutely viral immediately because they speak to the every person out there saying, what the hell is happening in the game industry specifically right now, and how is this stuff allowed to fly where it's pure, blatant,
Yeah,
Right.
and
discrimination happening right in front of our faces, and there's nothing that anyone's been able to do about it until people like Matt Hansen come forward and say really stupid things on Twitter and publicly on social media, where it kind of opens up that whole can of worms of, oh, wait a second, so you're saying you do want black people to represent you and take your
I do my little bit, and then the rest is your problem. You deal with it.
yeah,
Right.
and no, you'd see that a lot, and so there were a lot of segments also where they're like, we need to pad this out with like an extra person, and then you would. I can sit and help you guys with that, which is then also like, and that would also happen a lot because again,
listen to illegal behavior won't end well for him.
Oh my gosh.
Straight up backing up the idea that you can go ahead and sue this company if you're a white dude that ever applied to them and got rejected, because it's pretty straightforward that they don't want you working at their company based off your skin color and gender. Two things that you can't really be discriminatory against legally. You just can't. There's no real budge on that. Musk then took it a step further and quote tweeted Ethan Miles, Sean, saying, Satya Nadella, this is illegal. And for those unfamiliar, Nadella is the CEO and head guy in charge of all of Microsoft.
Think, oh, I'm in like the weatherman. I just kind of show up, I do my little bit, and then the rest is your problem. You deal with it.
Yeah,
Right.
and no, you'd see that a lot, and so there were a lot of segments also where they're like, we need to pad this out with like an extra person, and then you would be on in charge of like, I don't know, like a Sims review and then like a Fallout review, but then like the NBA 2K team would come up and be like, we need an extra person to like sit down. And be like, I am an extra body, I can sit and help you guys with that, which is then also how you get like into a position where you're like, I am here to fill dead air to help bounce ideas with you guys. And that would also happen a lot because, again, discussions are going to be, you know, it's like reality TV. You don't have to script anything. You're just like, and then they talk about this for 10 minutes. And then you like keep looking over at the director behind the camera who's like indicating how long you guys have. And they're like, keep going.
Oh my gosh, I feel kind of bad for you guys. Okay, so one of the things that was like people associate with what took place in January's speech. They're saying, well, this was really to cover up attention because in this one segment you talked about, you guys had some discussion about what games are upcoming in the year, and then people were saying you got one of the exclusives for Xbox from.
I think it was like Hogwarts Legacy or something like that.
Yeah. Exclusives for Xbox from.
I think it was like Hogwarts Legacy or something like that.
Yeah. And,
like that.
games are upcoming in the year, and then people were saying you got one of the exclusives for Xbox from.
I think it was like Hogwarts Legacy or something like that.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, maybe I wasn't the most fair at the time. I really didn't know what to think about it. But now that you're saying it, it feels like that's hard. Like even when you know a subject pretty well and you're trying to perform, your brain fries. You forget that it happens to everyone. But if you're telling me it's like, okay, Indiana, we'd like you to come down. We decided, we don't know if you've ever played these games. We don't know if you have any familiarity with it, but you're going to talk about it for 30 minutes. You're going to tell us the ins and outs of this topic. And we don't really care if you actually know anything about it. Good luck.
So that day, I remember that day actually really...
30 minutes. You're going to tell us the ins and outs of this topic. And we don't really care if you actually know anything about it. Good luck.
So...
Good luck.
So...
what both my parents meant to me. My father was a Marxist economist and a civil servant.
Oh. Yes. Thought I was gonna have to go out to my car. Couldn't find these, but here they are. Fucking tooth is aching. It's driving me fucking crazy. I can't fucking think straight. When my fucking face hurts. Where's my water? it's really rich, someone like Sunny Houston calling people uneducated when just a few months ago she claimed that she thought that climate change caused not only earthquakes, but solar eclipses. I don't think I've heard anything, I've never heard someone say something as dumb in my entire life. I don't know if you can even hear the television, but I just heard something. I just heard Sunny Houston call people uneducated. Most fourth graders are more educated than Sunny Houston.
So that day, I remember that day actually really well. And they completely changed everything because they realized how badly
She's basically said that she wouldn't change any action of the Biden administration, and it becomes clear that she likes it or not.
Feel for this, so now I'm in.
Yep. Off on her, and it sticks to her like steak on cheese. So let's go over some of the things that went horribly wrong during Biden's tenure. President Biden, along with Vice President Harris,
So now I'm in.
Yep.
Four different field for this, so now I'm in.
Yep.
Four
at the same time as liberties were being curtailed and normal people
So that is exactly how it happens, and I
Someone's
had to go
like,
apologize for it.
What the fuck?
I had
someone's
to
like,
go apologize for it, and I was like, I'm very sorry to all the Hogwarts Legacy fans. But the other big one, and I'll just like discuss it up top. I was like, I was always in.
I'm not saying that Ukraine doesn't have the right to defend itself. It certainly does. But the Biden administration.
I was like, I was always in every. I was like.
To explain to the American people why America has to pay for this war. Particularly since if we're also going to defend countries that are not
I'm on the PS5 at the time, and like rat money to get God of War Ragnarok if I wanted to play it. All this money to get God of War Ragnarok if I want.
Also, the clips on social media of the FEMA relief efforts certainly didn't help the Biden administration.
For Ragnarok if I wanted to play it.
To move a small log 30 feet seems like a pretty perfect illustration of government efficiency. It certainly isn't the biggest one, but I thought I'd mention it.
God of War Ragnarok if I wanted to play it.
Biden's cabinet
no, the shortage was very annoying. Were you guys treated like
And then I'd also have to pay all this money to get God of War Ragnarok if I wanted to play it.
No, the shortage was very annoying. Were you guys treated was very annoying. The shortage was very annoying. Were you guys treated like the shortage was very annoying. Was very annoying.
In the past, when the Democratic Party still cared about the working class, they had no problems with limiting immigration since it only impacts the working class. They were also for tariffs. Now, however, when Democrats have started thumbing their nose at workers and instead try to appeal only to coastal elites, mass immigration serves as a massive virtue signal to those urbanized, and it doesn't matter how
To his
much
back
damage
catalog,
those
and then I'd also have to pay all this money to get God of War Ragnarok if I wanted to play it.
No, the shortage was very annoying. Were you guys treated like more like a game journalism outlets like AGN, where you guys be able to get codes?
They shouldn't get to vote. Keep in mind that what they actually mean is that poor people shouldn't get to vote. Another problem.
And then people were saying you got one of the exclusives for Xbox from.
I think it was like Hogwarts Legacy or something like that.
To being called names. In fact, they are just trying to feed their children. When you're having a problem putting food on the table, that's what matters. And being called all manner of pejoratives isn't going to make you any more likely to vote for the ones calling you those things. The same goes for the campaign calling Trump Hitler again. All this hyperbolic screeching about how Trump will enact a fascist dictatorship rings particularly hollow, seeing as how we've already been through a term with him. People know what to expect, and they're just unable to reconcile
Games.
reality.
We don't know if you have any familiarity with it, but you're going to talk about for 30 minutes. You're going to tell us the ins and outs of this topic, and we don't really care if you actually know anything about it. Good luck.
So that day, I remember that day actually really well. And they completely changed everything because they realized how badly they had kind of left us out to dry. That day was also when we had Adam Sessler on site. And because Adam lives in San Francisco, they would fly him down for short periods of time into Burbank and then record so much footage with him, like maximize the time value. So whenever Adam appears in any of that content, chances are that all of that content was done kind of like back to back to back to back to back. And we were on set for a ridiculous amount of time doing like discussion to discussion to discussion and like moving topics around. And to try to cover it, I think we also talked about Starfield that day. And I was like, the one, because Emily and I like the RPGs, and so I was like, I will research Starfield. Everything that we know about Starfield, I will go and listen to like all of the interviews that Todd has made, and like get all these weird notes. And but I don't know what Xbox, Sony, Nintendo exclusives are. I was like, I prepped Starfield for this, and now I'm in 4 different conversations. So that is exactly how it happens. And I just will apologize for it. And I was like, I'm very sorry to all the Hogwarts Legacy fans. But the other big one, and I'll just like discuss it up top, the Sony PlayStation one. So like the quote is that I'm like, what do I say? I'm like, Sony's dead in the water. I fucking hate this thing. Like whatever. And the fact is that I had spent, if you watched G4, I had spent so long trying to get the PS5. I was like, I was always in every, I was like, I cannot get one for the life of me. And then finally I got one. A guy who actually worked at G4 and back in production, he got called up by like the Sony thing where you just like go into the website and then as soon as they're like, you have an opportunity to buy one. He's like, I actually already got one. How else do you want it? I was like, please, yes, I will give you so much money for this. So thankfully I did not have to buy one for resale value. I'd spent months trying to get one. I finally got it and then I was like so excited. I like go in to like see what games I can get and I'm like, Alan Wake, the remaster, that sounds amazing. I don't really vibe with like the Spider-Man games, but that's like the big game. And I was like, what the fuck? There are no games right now that I want to play on this system. I got like Horizon and like the Alan Wake remastered and like Spider-Man with the games out. And Sony also hadn't announced their, I think they called it the Spartacus or Spartan, some weird code name there, change up to the PlayStation Plus store. And so the only thing that existed at that time was like Game Pass had announced there's all these games to play on Game Pass. I just got my PS5. I feel like it's just an overgrown paperweight because I either have to play, what was it, like Deathloop was the other big game on the PS5 at the time, and like Ratchet and Clank. I was like, I'm not a Ratchet and Clank person. Don't really want to play Deathloop. I'm not about Spider-Man, so all I have is like these weird remastered titles, and they don't have like, they're getting smashed by Game Pass. because I have to spend so much money and the PlayStation Store sucks. Now that the PlayStation Store has changed, it is much better value bang for your buck. Especially if you go for like the premium title, until all of the AAA, like this is actually an interesting conversation about it if you want to have it, is as soon as Game Pass has access to like Elder Scrolls and Starfield, the Outer Worlds Avowed is like coming out for them, and they say that they're all like day one Game Pass, then suddenly Game Pass is like economic value or bang for your buck goes up dramatically. Because right now, even with the premium tier on Sony Plus, is like super nice, especially with the back catalog that you get for all of like your PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3 games, historically and notoriously PlayStation 3, fuck that console. But like God of War Ragnarok, I still have to pay for that. And so that's when I think like the dynamic starts to shift. So like until all of those big releases from Xbox come out on Game Pass, like bang for buck, Sony is the cheaper, more content console that you get. But then I'm like really curious what like the timeline is until something like a God of War Ragnarok is on through like your bundled PlayStation Plus premium package, because then suddenly it goes back in. But right now I'm like, man, I have to pay $20 a month to get access to his back catalog, and then I'd also have to pay all this money to get God of War Ragnarok if I wanted to play it.
No, the shortage was very annoying. Were you guys treated like more like a game journalism outlets like AGN? Were you guys able to get codes, or did the other companies? Guys treated like more like game journalism outlets like AGN? Were you guys able to get codes? Were you guys treated like more like a game journalism outlet like AGN? Were you guys able to get codes, or were you having to play the new games, access whatever you needed to do for the show on your own dime?
It would really depend.
On your own dime.
God damn it.
On your own dime.
Excuse me.
It would really depend. Any is kind of like our connections and would help us get codes. Not just local user and his career, but if Dan didn't have it, then we have to play RC and then play it to do it. I think only like that was last Last of Us 1 remaster. Card or Adam Sussler.
Okay. Did you?
Fuck.
Card or Adam Sussler.
What's up, Malachi? How you doing?
Crazy about the more than it was very disappointing for what it's called now.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Remember what's called.
What the fuck? What the fuck just happened?
I mean, some people like it. It did too much for me.
Yeah.
It did too much for me.
And to I need something to know people take down like email and have to make it I wrote about like
Almost everybody on the internet has been absolutely wrecking their pants about our director because of his racist comments. He really thought he could say that he wanted to push crusty old white dudes out of the video game industry and get away with it, but that definitely isn't the case. And while we
The game,
had
and then
Obsidian's
go and do a
co-founder,
just
Chris Howell speak out, he didn't talk about how these are terrible
and then we'll head to the
comments.
talent,
Now
like
we
read the
have
script.
developers
But
blasting this art director
Yeah,
as unstable and childish. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I don't think that
Pay the new
Matt Hansen
games, access
expected
whatever
to
you
get
needed to
wrecked
do
this
for the
hard,
show
but when you
on your
have
own
people
dime.
like Elon Musk
It would
making
really
statements about
depend.
this, yeah, it's
Danny
going to go
is
pretty
kind of was like head of
terribly
like
for you.
our
And
connections and
now
would
we
help us
have
get
Devs
codes.
speaking
And
their
that was just through like all of the
minds.
experience that
So
he had built
Roman
up
Reigns, the founder of Cult
in
Games, I
his
think that's how
career.
you're supposed to say it,
But
and he
if
made
Danny didn't have it,
developer
then
for
we'd have like
Rebellion.
Legends
The
Arceus.
last
I had to buy
Obsidian
that and then
Entertainment
play it to
avowed
do the
is art
review for it.
director Matt Hansen.
I think
Moritz
the only
spoke
like
exclusively with fandom
big
folks
title
who
that
asked him
I
to use
did
reaction
personally for
about
XPlay
including
was
pronouns in the game.
The Last of
Logging
Us
gamers on X
Part
would share
1
that they want the
remaster.
pronouns removed,
But
and the
otherwise,
art
like
director
the God of
Matt Hansen
War
revealing he
and
wanted to
Elden
make
Ring
Elon
and
Musk
Horizon were all
mad
done
with the
by
game. For those who are not
Gerard
aware,
or
it was
Adam
discovered
Sessler.
in a previous video
Okay.
uploaded by Force
Did you,
Inc.
so
The word
part of the
featured
job probably
pronouns
was
that
that
all
you
you
had to,
can see
you know,
is
this is
he
kind of
slashes.
here a
We
lot
don't
of people
know
that
how
work in
far they're
game
going
journalism
to
is
go
up.
with
There's
it,
like,
but when
there's
we're
the,
Let's
saying
take off that
is also
okay at the
he
top.
she slash her and they slash them. If they put any others besides that, I'm not sure. Maybe they'll even allow you to make custom ones. I'm definitely going for beep boo, but it's pretty freaking pathetic when you have somebody admitting to adding
To let you know,
content
I
to their game
am
in
stay
order
here
to
for
piss
32
off
minutes or
people
21
they
minutes
disagree
because
with.
my
But
big
anyway,
brother
he
have
straight up
birthday
said
party
he's so
tomorrow.
happy that Elon Musk
Oh,
was so
happy
triggered
birthday
over
to
this
them.
game, but it's only going to get worse for him because now he has brought a firestorm onto this title.
Horizon
And
were all done
while,
by
yes, he is
Gerard
just
or
an
Adam
actor,
Sessler.
he still does,
did you, so part of the
represent
job
the
probably was that
company.
you
We're
had
not
to,
just
you know,
even
this is
talking
kind of
about
here a lot
Obsidian
of people that
here.
work in
We're
game
talking
journalism
about
is up. There's like,
Microsoft.
there's
We're
the real
talking
job
about
and then there's kind of this
Xbox. These are
second
some massive
side
names,
job
and
where you play the
while
chiefs
I
for the
do
real
not
job.
think
It's
that
kind of like
he's
that for you.
going to bring down
Yeah.
the company by any means. We
It's
are
crazy.
talking
The older
about
that I've
another
gotten,
game
the more
that
that like
is facing backlash, and with every
it was
single
it was
woke
very
title
interesting
that's come
playing
out,
a
we are
game for a
seeing
job.
steeper and
Probably one of the
steeper
worst
drops. We are
experiences I had with
seeing
it is I
games
was
failing,
reviewing the
underperformances
Borderlands
left,
D&D.
right, and center,
Can I remember
and
what
I
it's called
think
now?
that when you
Yeah,
have
I,
somebody
yeah,
like
that,
Matt
it wasn't
Hansen
wasn't
coming out
a
and
huge fan. I mean, some
attacking
people
gamers,
like it.
it's
So it did too
only
much for me.
going to
Yeah, it was fine, but like there's so much content in that game, and to,
Okay, so how what?
I'm like a really big stickler. I know that some people like in talking to other reviewers, they'll just like turn it down onto like easy mode and then just like power through it, which really makes sense if you're doing like a narrative-based game and you just like have to digest that story as quickly as possible.
Makes
So
sense.
I was always like,
I am
I'll
doing
only
good. How are
play
you?
Normal, just because that's like supposed to be the experience that. I don't know. My idea was like in the reviews, if I'm talking about like a difficulty curve or something like in Control, when it feels like the difficulty curve like really spikes at like a certain point in the game, I want to like talk to it from that. So in playing Borderlands and just having it on like normal difficulty and just like not figuring out how to do my build, I would very quickly get stuck, and suddenly, you're spending so much longer just trying to complete something before you can even start doing the review for it. And again, on the timeline was even worse. And we had the ability to outsource. Like Leffler would always talk about, we can hire a freelancer to help us like complete this game. But then I was like, personally, I was like, well, then why would I want to read the review for it if I didn't play the game? And then go and do it didn't make sense to me. So I don't know if anyone else ever used it, but they're like, yeah, we can't hire third-party people to come in and beat the game and then give us notes, and then like our writers will write it and then we'll hand it to the talent and like read the script. But
Yeah, I think I've heard reports that's, I don't know if that's how it started, but on the original X-Play they did.
I'm
that
so
was
good
part of
because the
production,
birthday
that they got
party.
to the point was like that. Hey, no, good for you. I think any of your
Well, I hope
many
you
of your
have
critics
fun.
who would definitely,
I'm
they
sure you
share the
will.
tweets like, oh, look at this polygon report. they couldn't get past level 1 in the new Quake game or Doom or whatever. You know, you name it. Oh, they just died at the tutorial stage in Elden Ring, those losers. Yeah, no, they were like, wait, actually, no, this person right here actually is trying to do right by the gamer credo. So, kudos to you for that. Were there, you know, so, kudos.
Working together, but unfortunately there is a great divide in the gaming industry right now.
Kudos to you for that.
He also said the fact that Obsidian's art director is lashing out in the unhinged way he did is the sign of a person who is not
right by the gamer credo. So, kudos to you for that.
And is in short spoiled.
Were there, you know,
100%. These people do not want to have conversations.
I don't know if that's how it started, but on the original X Play, they did. That was part of the production that they got to the point was like that. Hey, no, good for you. I think any of your many of your critics who would definitely, they share the tweets like, oh, look at this Polygon report. They couldn't get past level 1 in the new. Oh, look at this Polygon report. They couldn't get past
If you do not parrot these people's talking points, if you are not
level 1 in the new
chill leftists,
Quake game or Doom.
they have to contend with the simple
Level
fact,
1
games
in the
that
new
do well to
Quake
appeal to
game
their audience are naturally successful. Games that spite their audience are unnaturally unsuccessful.
tweets like, oh, look at this Polygon report. They couldn't get past level 1 in the new Quake game or Doom or whatever. You know, you name it. Oh, they just died at the tutorial stage in Elden Ring, those losers. They were like, wait, actually, no, this person right here actually is trying to.
I forgot to like to you.
Freedom.
Yes,
So,
everyone watching,
kudos
make sure
you
to
for
like
that.
and subscribe and hit that bong for notification.
You know, lots of focus on the negatives, of course. Were there positive experiences? Were there moments
Thanks
that
for
you
the
really
like.
enjoyed working at G4 TV?
But yeah, I really loved all of our
Were there, you know, lots of focus on the negatives, of course. Were there positive experiences? Were there moments that you really enjoyed working at G4 TV?
If it happens to be a remake, or they were at least trying to listen to gamers in any way, shape, or form. And of course, we've seen Elon Musk say that these discriminatory comments
But
will
yeah, I
not
really
end
loved all of our
well for the
behind
About Art
camera
director. Responding by saying things like it should not be acceptable for any
behind
company
camera
in
people.
the gaming
Love our
industry to
my
use
Disney on
bias
love try.
against white guys in the past. Matt Hansen has said, "Oh, Elon, you sweet summer child, this will only involve you sad sack of shit." And this was back in March.
Awesome people. So just like
over
the
past couple of months,
no,
really,
they
to
I think
us
so.
here,
I appreciate that I started to focus on that now. I didn't do that. There was effort in the chief office. There was someone that did now. I was like, what do you what do
he is confessing
you
to
like?
illegal
Like,
behavior. It won't end well for him. And, yep, I mean, Chris Avalon,
building
the
like
co-founders of Obsidian, just a few days
Who is
ago,
that
had said
person?
that if you have been discriminated against, you should throw a lawsuit their way. And
What am I doing with this video?
without a shadow of a doubt.
This is the new, well, this is actually a throwback because this interview is from a few years ago. But this is going to be the newest episode of a podcast I work for called Culture Skate. And the person we're interviewing, her name is Indiana Frost Curran. You may remember her from the G4 revival, the G4 channel revival. This interview was right after G4 collapsed. She took a lot of the blame for it unjustifiably, and they're discussing her time there.
They're going to face major backlash when they finally launch, so I will be keeping my eye on this. But we've got, co-founders roasting.
Oh, look at this Polygon report. They couldn't get past level 1 in the new Quake game or Doom or whatever. But you know, you did moments that you really enjoyed working at G4 TV.
But yeah, I really loved all of our behind camera people. I thought I loved all the writers on X-Play. My producing team on esports, I fucking love Trey. Shout out to him. Lindsay, really badass. I didn't get to know the Attack of a Show team very well because I was never really on that vertical. But from the few producers that I did know over there, which is like B-Comp and Vanessa, awesome people. So just like the general day-to-day, which is, again, it was so weird. Like, I really strongly felt that if I was ever in the G4 office and there was someone that I didn't know, I was like, who are you? What do you do here? Because I basically work and know like all the studio people who are like creating the content, and then like someone would walk by me that I'd like never seen before. I was like, what? Who is that person?
Was that building like the way it was framed? They tried to make it seem bigger.
On this darkness that's in tabletop gaming and board gaming and all sorts of different topics, and they're going to cower in fear because of what's happening here. It's hilarious. Let's look at the news here and talk about this. My name's John Delarose, and thank you for joining us here on the channel and joining our community. I am a fantasy author, and actually I do a great setting that is kind of a fantasy world based on Victorian era stuff. This is a steampunk novel, and swashbuckling airship adventures. An airship crew has to go out and fight monsters. That is exactly what Dungeons and Dragons should be. That is what Call of Cthulhu should be. This is where you should be at. So I made a beautiful world and did a ton of world building efforts here. If you like RPGs, you're gonna love this fantasy book. And gosh, we've been crushing it the last few days. We actually hit #1 bestseller. Multiple steampunk categories, just dominating the whole steampunk genre. Thank you so much for helping me come in on that. I know a lot of you came in through the community tab when I posted about the book yesterday, and I just want to give you a shout out for supporting our books. It's available on ebook, print, and audio, and it's a 6-book series. I actually recommend the whole thing because it builds up really, really nicely, and you'll really, really love it once it starts to get into book 2, book 3. You see how I open up the world as an adventure. And I'll have this in the description below for you. Thank you again for all the support and reading. Okay, so yeah, Chaosium, who's the makers of Call of Cthulhu RPG, have now entered into the woke fray with their latest offerings in the series. Cthulhu by Gaslight Investigator's Guide, adding a full chapter of LGBTQ into their game setting. Now, this makes no sense. It is in the late 1800s, and of course, anything like that was going on in Victorian England was done behind closed doors very, very quietly because it's not appropriate for polite society. So you really don't need a chapter on this, and why would you need a chapter on this too? It gets even weirder too. You start to look at what these people are trying to do with tabletop RPGs, and it's very much not tell a story of fighting monsters and things like that, but it's just act out their sexual fetishes, which, you know, if anybody like that's at my table, I gotta tell you, you're getting out of my house, because I don't want that anywhere around me. Doesn't make any sense.
Oops.
Now, if you don't know what this is a horror RPG based on the worlds of H.P. Lovecraft, and of course just has all the darkness monsters lurking in the dark who are kind of controlling everything. And most games are like kind of investigatory things that open up, and you start off as normal people, you slowly get more mad, and you slowly get more horror elements coming in on this, and it just gets crazy over the course of the game. Usually there's really no way to win. It's a very dark sort of thing. Not my favorite game, I'm not gonna lie. I have played it several times, but I prefer more swashbuckling adventures myself. But they have gone woke, and they have gone crazy, and I know this is a very popular game. It's in its 7th edition and further, and it's been going on for a while. And so they've been adding LGBTQI+ sections.
Did you finish Five Nights at Freddy's or no? No, I never tried it again after the first night. It's sitting in, it wasn't what I was expecting. I've seen people play the mobile game, and that's what I was expecting, I guess. But it was just like, oh, I have to like walk around and stuff, and I was just too drunk to get into it.
Were there, lots of focus on the negatives, of course. Were there positive experiences? Were there moments
Maybe
that
one
you really
day.
enjoyed working at G4 TV?
Well, yeah, I really loved all of our behind camera people. I thought I loved all the writers on X-Play, my producing team on esports. I fucking love Trey. Shout out to him. Lindsay, really badass. I didn't get to know the Attack of a Show team very well because I was never really on that vertical. But from the few producers that I did know over there, which is like B-Comp and Vanessa, awesome people. So just like the general day-to-day, which is, again, it was so weird. Like, I really strongly felt that if I was ever in the G4 office and there was someone that I didn't know, I was like, who are you? What do you do here? Because I basically work and know like all the studio people who are like creating the content, and then like someone would walk by me that I'd like never seen before. I was like, what? Who is that person?
Was that building like the way it was framed? They tried to make it seem bigger, but then they're like looking at us like you got the lower levels. It seems offices, and then you have the part of the top part of the building they've rented out, and that's where all the all the filming stuff was. Did you guys like feel like you had enough room or resources to do your job?
I think that
All the filming stuff was. Did you guys like feel like you had enough room or resources to do your job?
All in the same direction, and it's all about just playing out people's
You see what I'm doing here, Malachi?
stuff that they want to talk about.
See this top layer here that's highlighted? This is his camera. Hidden beneath that, in the next layer, is Frosk's camera. So, and I only have both of their vocals on the same audio track, so I have to wait until their mouths start moving and cut between them for whoever's talking. And this layer down here is this background that borders them.
Now, I did some research into this, and they've been doing this for years.
And I'm 1 hour into 2 hours and 47 minutes of footage to do this to. So I have an hour and 47 minutes left of content to cut through, which just getting through the past 15 minutes of footage has taken me almost an hour. So I have many, many hours ahead of work and nights ahead of me because it's already 4 in the morning. I'm going to have to call it quits on this pretty soon for the night.
Oh, please clap. Please clap for the literal Nazi. But they also did virtue signaling that
A lot of work to do.
I think that.
a drive-through RPG release.
I think that the setup and workflow pipeline is really more for workflow.
See how he nods right there? I have to go, and now I have to zoom in and make sure he didn't go, mm-hmm.
Flow pipeline.
He didn't.
Workflow pipeline really messed up. And that is pipeline really messed up. And that is supposed to be a close to that if you want to film anywhere, actually like jack into the floor and then have.
Normally I have their voices on 2 different audio tracks so I could just look and see who's talking, but that is not the case here.
Yeah, but everything that goes into the main control room or into another room. But what would actually happen is you'd be like, hey, you know, piracy content, something like that. So you never really got so you never really got to do anything you wanted to do, but in a sense, like when George is Hollow Knight and Geoff called Meteor.
Now, what does Black Lives Matter have to do with black guys in creators and RPGs? Absolutely nothing. It didn't do anything. They just wanted
And like a big thing with like they came in with the developers that's like a SL completely grown up have a build or anything that came. It's like basically all produced by with talent and so many different instances where and there were so many meetings
now this is right in the wake of Dungeons and Dragons getting called out by Elon Musk, and Elon Musk saying he might buy Hasbro to
and there was so many different instances where that
the entire RPG industry. I know we've got a lot of regular
happening all the time. We're fighting, and then like product, those kind of like our camera people or audio people. Those guys, those guys are great.
are the people who make Darkness books.
This is what I'm talking about.
Like those guys are great. It's not that
I have to scan the whole thing to make sure I catch every time he goes, mm-hmm, so I can cut to him.
those guys are great.
A bunch of weirdos have taken over the RPG industry in total, and there's it's really needing like a completely
For our camera people or audio people, like those guys are great. It's not that.
Now there is a great system on Drive-Thru RPG. It's called ACKS Axe, and so go look that up. That one's actually made for adventure and fun again.
Like the purpose thing is deciding if production wants to do that. We just like have no idea like the calendar or pasta. Just immediately we just say no.
Join us here. We're almost 50,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. Please sign up for the Fandom Pulse Substack, where we write our articles of the day. And this for Steam and Country for Book 1, but I would love for you to come in on all
do your job?
I think that the setup and kind of like workflow pipeline was really messed up, and that it was supposed to be, hey, there's jacks all over the studio, so that if you want to film anything anywhere, you can actually just like jack into the floor, and then it has like, you know, everything that goes into the main control room or into one of the control rooms. But what would actually happen is we would be like, hey, we want to do, you know, X, Y, or Z content, and someone would be like, no. And so you never really got to do anything that you wanted to do. But I think in the really good sense, like when Gerard had his buddies from Hollow Knight, and they showed off, I think the game's called Mira, and they did like a
Fuck,
thing
I
where,
missed
like, they
one.
came in, we talked to the developer.
God damn it. Okay. Just don't forget to say goodbye, Malachi. I'll forgive you if you don't, but...
Jack into the floor, and then it has like, you know, everything that goes into the main control room or into one of the control rooms. But what
Where
would
does he
actually
say
happen is we would be like, hey, we want to do, you know, X, Y, or Z content, and someone would be like, no. And so you never really got to do anything that you wanted to do. But I think in the really good sense, like when Gerard had his buddies from Hollow Knight, and they showed off, I think the game's called Mira, and they did like a big thing where like the game's called Mira, showed off, I think the game's called Mira, and they did
Motherfucker!
I think the game's called Mira, and they did
The reason I didn't catch it was because he goes, without moving his face, so I couldn't see it.
I think in the really good sense, like when Gerard had his buddies from
Oh, and since you're taking off,
Hollow
have
Knight,
fun
and they
at
showed off, I think the game's called
your
Mira,
brother's or cousin's
and they did
birthday.
like a big thing where,
Whatever,
like, they
whoever
came in,
birthday
talked
it
to the
was.
developers, they
Tell
got
them
to
I
see, like,
said
a
happy
test build,
birthday.
and it was kind of like a big
Whoever
promo
they are.
kind of reveal or announcement for that game. That was like basically all produced by Gerard with assistance from like the direct talent, and production actually like tried to shut him down on that, and there was so many different instances where that would happen all the time, where we were constantly fighting. And this isn't like our camera people or audio people, like those guys are great. It's not it's like the person who's deciding if production is going to do that would just like have no idea what was on like the calendar or what was possible, and just immediately would just say no.
Yeah, and it seemed like from the floor plan, it looked like they had kind of pushed all the production stages together, which is like, I
And
have
you can't
little
film 2 times.
together, which is like,
With such an overwhelming scale that I don't think they have the numbers. I haven't seen any polling that would suggest this. Now I'm not saying it's impossible.
I
and
have
you can't
little.
film 2 times, two
Yes,
things
that's
at once.
right.
New restrictions. Like, can anyone tell
Yeah,
I
and
have
you can't
little-
film 2 times.
Yeah.
like what is good about the European Union? Well, you can travel through Europe. And it's like, that's great, but can we do that without a bureaucracy? Like, what's to stop Poland and Romania negotiating
Together, which is like,
so you can travel with the ID?
Have a good day, Malachi. Thanks for hanging out with me. Have a good one. Have fun at your party. Be safe.
together.
Don't party too hard, like I do. It's terrible for you.
Which is like, I
And
have
you can't
little.
film 2 times, 2
Yes,
things
that's
at once.
right. Yeah, that seems like a very poorly designed set choice. Which is like, I
And you
have
can't
little.
film.
Which is like, I
And you
have
can't
little.
film 2 times.
I
But despite that, I do not think that the AFD can pull Germany out of the EU. So, all these people
all the production stages together, which is like,
Yeah,
I
and
have
you can't
little-
film 2 times.
It's not going to happen. Now again, if I'm proven wrong, and if it does happen, I will eat crow. I will be the first one. But the thing is, like, when
stages together, which is like,
think that,
Yeah,
I
and
have
you can't
little-
film 2 times,
Yes,
2 things
that's
at once.
right.
statement on what I wish, which is why I need to differentiate, right? Like, I wish this would happen, but my prediction is that it's not. And 4 years from now, you can come up and you can say, well, you were wrong. They actually got Germany out of the EU. The alternative far right, I love the fact that they have to mention it. It's like the far right. You know, they never say like the far left party, the Grüne. Did you notice that?
which is like,
Yeah,
I
and
have
you can't
little-
film 2 times, 2
yes,
things
that's
at once.
right. Yeah, that seems like,
Thank you, and you have fun with the other people that can talk to you in the comments. And bye. Bye, Malachi. Take it easy.
other, which is like,
Yeah,
I
and
have
you can't
little-
film 2 times, 2
yes,
things
that's
at
right.
once.
Yeah, that seems like a very poorly designed set choice there, guys. But okay. Okay. So one more fun thing. Okay, so what was the cringiest, most embarrassing? Was it for you? Like, I don't know if you were into Dungeons and Dragons, but when I saw that critical, I think there was at one point you had some of the people critical role, and I remember another time you were doing it. You probably did it multiple times, where you guys were live role playing and you had some celebrities on, and that was pretty special. Celebrities on, and that was pretty special.
With the mass immigration, you continue with the environmentalism, like you're still applying the same bureaucracy, but you just
That was pretty special.
We had,
That was pretty special.
maintain the same system, and you can just say, well, we left.
That was pretty special.
we had,
Paper calls for
That's
a
pretty
tightening of
special.
abortion laws, and to end the economic sanctions against Russia, and to repair recommissioning of the Nord Stream pipeline.
Playing, you had some celebrities on, and
German gas.
that was
Like, you gotta understand,
that was pretty special.
a lot of people are like, oh, you're
we had, Freddie Prinze Jr. come on at one point, and he touched my shoulder. I was like, you're married to Sarah Michelle Gellar. I'm like, like, you're married to Sarah Michelle Gellar. I'm like,
That is really funny. Okay, the Freddie Prinze Jr. thing probably has to go in the intro.
Live role playing, you had some celebrities on, and that was pretty special.
we had, Freddie Prinze Jr. come on at one point, and he touched my shoulder. I was like, you're married to Sarah Michelle Gellar. I'm like, Kevin Baconing my way to like Buffy.
He's on, and that was pretty special.
We had, Freddie Prinze Jr. come on at one point, and he touched my shoulder. I was like, you're married to Sarah Michelle Gellar. I'm like, Kevin Baconing my way to like Buffy.
You know what? I'm gonna move his laugh over to.
You're married to Sarah Michelle Gellar. It's like,
When the AFD says something like this, that they want to strengthen.
I'm like Kevin Baconing my way
It's going to be interesting. Like it may not alienate voters. It may upset the Americans.
to like Buffy.
Okay, well, hold on. Do you want to be invaded?
To like Buffy.
Because if you want to be invaded, then you can take your energy independence from Russia. And if you don't want to be invaded, then well, leave the
Man, there was just some weird. We did some.
organization. Why are they here? Right? Like, you gotta make a decision that makes sense, basically. So yeah, like the AFD, I don't know how they're willing to negotiate between the world's superpowers. Like,
Look
especially
at that.
the US.
I put a laugh where there was not one before.
I'm like Kevin Baconing my way to like Buffy. Oh man, there was just some weird. We did some weird.
Pretty's on. And that was pretty special.
I don't know the treaty after World War II, right? So it would probably be like, if you don't want to be in NATO, that's fine. You can be the one nation in Europe without the. Well, it's not the one nation in Europe.
Where's the pen?
There's Switzerland.
What the fuck?
But you can't deal with the Russians. And
Why is it always missing? Where could it possibly have gone?
But to say that your entire
Ah, found it. I was about to scream. 104.30.
That's going to be interesting. Good luck talking that with Donald Trump. Good luck negotiating.
Freddie,
Donald Trump, sit at the table with them.
Prince
How that's going to work out.
Jr.
There is no reason to restrict the use of coal, natural gas, oil. Humans cannot produce climate carbon dioxide. The gas scientists say it's most responsible for climate. Yeah, I do agree with the fact that your nation has coal.
You never see Sarah Michelle Gellar in movies anymore. It's like they seem like they were giving her a push when she was in The Grudge. I don't think I've ever seen her in a movie since. What the fuck has Sarah Michelle Gellar been doing? And also, what the fuck has Freddie Prinze Jr. been doing? I need to fix my drink. One moment, please hold.
And you see me standing there, the guns and the booze. You gotta make me rage. You gotta make me too. You make me want to.
Get back.
Return the hate. You make me want to.
That was pretty special.
Thanksgiving, if you celebrate.
Some celebrities on, and
Why do I have
That
shit
was-
all over me?
Started the day out with
That was pretty special.
Feast at lunch. Hung out
We
with
had
my
Freddie
kids,
Prinze
talked
Jr.
about
come on
things
at
we
one
did,
point, and he
played some
touched my shoulder. I was
games,
like,
sang some
you're
merry
married to Sarah
tunes.
Michelle Gellar. I'm like
Maybe
this.
it's-
I'm like Kevin Baconing my
Then we
way
ended the
to like
night capping it
Buffy.
all off.
Um,
And imagine my
wow, man,
surprise
there was just
to
some
find
weird.
out
We
the
did
film
some
starring
weird
Jack
shit.
Black, directed by the Coen brothers, who have made
Cringiest,
good films
weirdest
since
thing that we
20
ever
years
did.
ago, directed a pile of shit. A film so bad.
Wow, man, there was just some weird. We did some weird shit.
I'm of course talking about Dear Santa. Dear gods, why did I watch
Kevin
this?
Baconing my way to like Buffy. Wow, man, there was just some weird. We did some weird shit.
Who would've thought that a film
Cringiest,
starring Jack
weirdest thing
Black
that we ever
straight
did.
to stream or on
The
Paramount
D&D shit
Plus
was
would be
really hard.
trash? I did, but I still went in and watched it. Once upon a time ago, the directors
I remember
of
we were
Myself and Irene,
warming up, and we had like an improv guy like come in and like try to help us.
the directors of a few other pretty solid comedies over the years, would go on to make some of the shittiest movies that are considered comedies, I guess, in the last 15, 20 years. Dumb and Dumber 2 ranking pretty high up there with insulting sequels. And I bring up Dumb and Dumber 2 not just for
I don't know how to make
nostalgia's
this
sake,
funny.
but
I
also
don't know what I'm
because it's
doing, and
kind
I'm like,
it's kind of appropriate based on Dear Santa. These two films have one key aspect in common. They're both very ugly, mean-spirited films. I have no problem with dark comedy. I have no problem with some mean-spirited ribbing, especially when it comes for a villain character. But I'm talking about everyone in these movies. Dumb and Dumber was great because these. I did, but I still
Win
went
the
in and
engagement.
watched anyways.
I know, I
Once
think it
upon a
might.
time ago, the directors
try to like
of
win the
Myself and
engagement.
Irene, the directors
Like,
of Dumb and Dumber, one of my
I'll
favorite
just try to like
comedies of all
win the
time.
engagement.
The directors of a few other pretty solid comedies over the years would go on to make some of the shittiest movies that are considered comedies, I guess, in the last 15, 20 years. Dumb and Dumber 2 ranking pretty high up there with insulting sequels. And I bring up Dumb and Dumber 2
I didn't think
not
Dumb and
just
Dumber
for
2 was that
nostalgia's
bad.
sake,
I remember I chuckled a few times.
it's kind of appropriate based on Dear Santa. These two films have one key
The first one's
aspect in
pretty
common.
funny.
They're both very ugly, mean-spirited films.
I like the idea of a Dear Santa movie where it's actually
Mean-spirited
Satan.
ribbing, especially when it comes for a villain
But everyone says it sucks.
But I'm talking about everyone in these movies.
Was-
Dumb and Dumber was great.
That was pretty
because
special.
These guys were both idiots, and they
We
did
had
stupid things. They
Freddie
were
Prinze
naive.
Jr. come on
They
at
didn't
one
make
point,
ignorant
and he touched my
decisions
shoulder. I was like,
to their own
you're married to
benefit
Sarah Michelle
as they
Gellar.
saw
I'm like
fit.
this.
But
I'm
then
like
the
Kevin
sequel comes
Baconing
along
my
and
way
they're
to like
just
Buffy.
assholes. Ignorant
Wow,
and
man, there was just some
mean-spirited.
weird. We
Not a
did
good
some weird
combination.
shit.
But here we are in 2024 with Dear
Cringiest,
Santa,
weirdest thing that we ever
another
did.
movie
The
falling in
D&D
that
shit
same
was really
category
hard, and that
of
was really
miserable
scary. I have
people
no idea
doing
why they
selfish
decided to do that
things,
that way. I
told in a
remember we were
stupid way with some of the worst
warming up, and we had like an
cinematography I've seen
improv
from a
guy like come in and
live
like try to help
directing
us,
duo in a long
and just
time.
Kasim, who is probably the most technically sound improv person that we have. Like if I have to actually think like who was an actual actor on like the G4 team, it would be like Kevin, Kasim. I wouldn't classify Adam as an actor, but obviously like has that like repertoire or like that ability just because of like the experience. But like Kevin and Kasim are probably like the strongest actors that we have. And Kasim was just like about to shit himself. He was so nervous. He's
Was
like, I have no
Kasim
idea how to
G?
play D&D. I don't know how to make this funny. I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, I know how to play D&D to a level, but I definitely don't know how to make this funny. So you do the funny thing, I'll just try to like win the engagement.
I know, I think of my D&D nights like, you guys want to watch us main characters survive hours and drink 2 liters of Mountain Dew? I mean, I don't know what you want from.
Yeah, I don't know. They just, it's because they had a
Characters survive hours and drink 2 liters of Mountain Dew? I mean, I don't know what you want from.
The words are out of sync. This causes him to write a letter to Santa Claus, but he accidentally puts letters in the wrong spot and puts Dear Satan.
Hail Satan!
That's the
And
only
drink
funny thing in
2
the whole
liters of
film.
Mountain Dew? I mean, I don't know what you want from.
It's not because the little boy
yeah, I
is
don't know.
11.
They just, it's because they had a deal.
His mom very much is in the
Or to drink
He does it
2 liters of
on
Mountain Dew. I mean, I don't know what you
His
want
mother
from.
loves Christmas. You can tell this because there's zero decoration throughout
Yeah, I
the
don't know.
house.
They just,
Ugh.
it's because they had a deal with. Oh, here's the fun thing about D&D. And a deal with
Wizards of the Coast?
want to say Wizards of the Coast.
Ah!
With someone, a big entity in that, and they helped finance it, so G4 didn't have to eat the entire cost of it, which I think it was like a cool idea. I definitely wouldn't have done it that way, but that was
switch from humorous, dark, edgy comedy, and it's not edgy at all, to sad, emotional, touching film, and failing on all
it's
fronts.
like a cool idea. I definitely wouldn't have done it that way, but that was the reason why you would have to you had a sponsor that's an investor
Here's the biggest spoiler.
that
I
an
had a hard time getting through this, and I was fast forwarding by the
an
time
investor
I got to the last 20 or so minutes.
sponsor
And
that
the
an
same thing can be said for the 3 Christmas movies I watched on the streaming platforms.
had a sponsor that an investor that
Netflix or Hulu or Paramount Plus,
they were like
or any of these stupid streaming services. It's all
they
about pumping
ordered
out
like 3 seasons
content.
of the show.
I fast forwarded every one
All
of
of
these
them,
out,
all of them,
or I just straight up
he's like,
shut
yeah,
it off.
like,
I
there's a lot of
couldn't
back.
do it. Now this isn't like the most clever of concepts.
There's
In
like
fact,
nothing
I'm
back.
pretty
It's
sure
like,
every
I don't know,
kid
like,
that
you
was
do that.
7 years of
Well,
age and older at one point figured out, holy shit, Santa and Satan are, if you mix these, holy crap, they're the same word, kind of. They have the same letters. This is crazy.
For 5 hours and drink 2 liters of Mountain Dew. I mean, I don't know what you want from.
Yeah, I don't know. They just
Ugh.
it's because they had a deal with. Oh, here's the fun thing about D&D. And a deal with
Shit jokes.
want to say Wizards of the Coast. I don't know. They had a deal with someone, a big entity in that, and they helped finance it, so G4 didn't have to eat the entire cost of it, which I think it was like a cool idea. I definitely wouldn't have done it that way, but that was a reason why like D&D was important to them, is because you had a sponsor that an investor that was saying like, please make this content. You have the studio, go and do it. They ordered like 3 seasons of the D&D show, but the production team used all of the money. Like, this is how bad they were with money. They used all of the money for a single season. And that's why, like, B-Dave had, like, organized it, so G4 didn't have to eat the entire cost of it. Which I think it was like a cool idea. I definitely wouldn't have done it that way, but that was a reason why like D&D was important to them, is because you had a sponsor that an investor that was saying like, please make this content. You have the studio, go and do it. They ordered like 3 seasons of the D&D show, but the production team used all of the money. Like, this is how bad they were with money. They used all of the money for a single season. And that's why, like, B-Dave had, like, organized it, that it was supposed to, that's why it never came back. They just, like, I don't know. I'm like, how do you do that?
Well, it felt like even like some of the people that came on your shows, like, why is that person there? Like, I think they're on a sitcom or something. Like who is this for? I'm sorry. That sounds legitimately. That sounds like a very difficult situation, and you put yourself in an embarrassing situation. I think they're on a sitcom or something. Like,
it would be cool if we could maybe like go on a date. That's one of his wishes. Of the 3 wishes, that's one
like
of his
who is
wishes.
this for?
Wish number 2. This is even more precious. He's got one friend, and here's where the mean-spirited stuff's gonna come in. He's got one friend, and his parents know their
Person
son
there,
sucks,
like, I
and
think
is
they're on a
upset at
sitcom or
loser,
something. Like,
I guess.
Like who is this
So they
for?
won't buy that he just
God
has
damn
a
it.
friend. But he does. He genuinely has.
Like, who is this for?
He hangs out with. He's a nice kid. Gibby gets introduced to the parents as a child who is suffering with cancer. Laugh. Isn't cancer funny? Subscribe for cancer. No,
Sitcom or something.
Funny.
Like who is this for?
It's just kind of
I'm sorry. That sounds legitimately. That sounds like a very difficult situation, and you put yourself in an embarrassing situation. It's not fun for you, and you already had everything else you had to do for work.
as far as the
Did you ever have
punches,
moments
and it
you're
certainly
like,
doesn't deliver the hits.
maybe you have moments where you're proud, and I hope you had those kind of moments. You're like, oh mom, hey, look at this. Here's my review. I'm so proud. Did you have moments you're like, please don't look. Whatever you do, don't look up G4 TV or XPlay on YouTube.
Anytime.
So the fact that they can't
G4 TV or XPlay on YouTube.
They can't get closer to the camera once in a while. They're all these lazy ass mid-level shots, and that's it. That's the whole movie. This friend gave me his all teeth.
Which is very strange.
He might have a face under them, but the poor kid, he's like a dentist's
important
wet
from like the back.
At one point, he's drooling because he can't talk, he can't form letters or words or sounds, and obviously he's wearing fake dentures or whatever. So, let's go backwards. Let's rewind the tape where Liam says for my second wish, get my friend's teeth fixed.
And that's why
I don't think his friend ever
Russell.
mentions his teeth needing fixing. Liam's just Liam, like the rest of the audience, just doesn't want to fucking look at those teeth anymore.
Why
Hideous.
Russell
And
Aaron.
they're not funny to look at. They're just kind of miserable. They're just not appealing on camera. And so eventually they look at this, and they would put different fake dentures on top of this actor's
Figure.
real
Yep.
The
teeth.
ghost of Olivia
And they're
Munn.
still gigantic because these got fake ones on top
Some
of real
shadowy
ones.
figure.
And I mean, honestly, it wasn't much of an improvement. The kid could just keep his mouth closed, and things would be
Yep.
The ghost of Olivia Munn.
yeah, he's wasted 2 wishes on 2 pretty trivial things.
Yep.
The
So now
ghost
we
of
get to
Olivia.
the final, no, we don't even get to talk about, oh my god, we gotta talk about Post Malone. Once Liam makes his wish to go on a date with a girl,
Yep.
The
he gets
ghost
his
of.
chance, his one shot, his one
Yep.
opportunity, Eminem. He takes her on a date to a Post Malone concert that apparently is taking place in the back of a library. It's very quiet, it's very chill. Looks like there's an audience of about 60.
Ghost
What
of
the hell
Olivia
kind
Munn.
of venue is this? Oh, well, we don't have a budget for anything else. I think the Farley brothers probably have a mansion with a larger venue.
These three
with a
middle
larger
manager
space
people.
that they could put this on at, as opposed to wherever this is. The sound stage that our singer is on looks like about
Middle
a
manager
6x6.
people. Oh, sorry, it's
He's
my.
just kind of pacing back and forth in a couple
Oh, no,
steps.
you're okay.
Liam, of course, because Satan's there, Jack Black is able to
These three middle manager people. Oh, sorry, it's my.
so he tells Post Malone,
Oh, no.
makes Post Malone think that Liam is the coolest kid
Figure.
in the world.
Yep.
The ghost of
Liam
Olivia
goes up
Munn
on stage
is
and
like
impresses not only the girl, but
these
also
three middle
everybody else
manager
in
people.
attendance,
Oh,
which is
sorry,
the
it's my.
45 people, and he does a
Oh,
cool
no, you're
ass
okay.
dance. I'm like, cool, I mean, cringy
They
as
decided that
fuck. Liam's like,
Oh.
yeah, how do you like
these
now?
three middle
And
manager
then you
people.
have
Oh,
Post
sorry, it's
Malone,
my.
yeah, and then Jack Black, of course, can't resist an opportunity.
These three
to
middle
dance
manager
like a
people.
jackass, runs out there. Yeah, I'm Satan.
Oh, sorry, it's my.
Oh, no, you're okay.
I hit pause on the video only to find out.
Oh, no, you're okay.
It's an hour and 40 movie. Hour 40. Should be done pretty quick. Cup of coffee. No, this takes an eternity. It drags on and on until the break of dawn. I think we can go to our final wish now. Liam doesn't want his parents to fight anymore because his dad's a piece of shit and his mom is just
The middle manager people.
She wants Christmas, and doesn't.
They decided
It's
that.
that whole thing. And so he wishes that they could be happy and be together. And it's also revealed around this time that he had a brother who died. And they moved from their hometown. settled
These
down
three middle
here, and
manager
it's
people.
clearly
They
not
decided
working
that.
for the parents. This is not the
These
way
three
to
middle
build a
management people are just
story.
like disrupting
You gotta
and
get
not
this stuff
assisting with
right
anything.
away.
So
You
they.
gotta learn about the kid being gone and the move and
These
how
three
things
middle
are going
manager
about, because
people.
then I
They
can
decided that.
understand why the parents are
These three
assholes.
middle
And they're
management
fighting
people
so
are just
much,
like
but it doesn't
disrupting.
present it that way.
Management
Why does
people
it
are just.
look so cheap, Farley Brothers? I'm not
People are just like.
expecting Christopher Nolan levels of cinematography here. I'm not looking for David Fincher to bust out, 5 hours to get a single frame of video perfection. My God, people. Can we put the bare minimum in?
Shadowy figure.
So it's at
Yep.
The
this
ghost of
point
Olivia Munn is
that
like
Jack Black's Satan, who's
these three middle manager people are just like disrupting and not assisting with anything. So they got canned, and then they brought in a new CEO, and then like had to like rehire the esports team. But shout out to Buddy. He wrote a scathing email directly to Tucker about how incompetent upper management was in dealing with like the verticals and plugging into that team. And unfortunately, because of his scathing email, he didn't get rehired. And I thought the Buddy was really funny and quite good at his job. But like, I get it. Also, if I was Buddy, I wouldn't want to like come back after that. But like, Paul got fired and then got immediately rehired. And that is like again, it's like a perfect example. But like, we had to do this Fortnite tournament, and they're like, Frost, you are our only esports person because the contract has run out with Golden Boy, and he's in perpetual contract negotiation hell because G4 doesn't want to pay anyone any more money to sign them, and they don't understand the value of Golden Boy, and they also didn't know how to use him anyway. ODYSEE is in contractual hell and definitely is not going to bend contract to come in and do this. So you're the only person on contract that we have. We need you to run this tournament. I was like, I don't know anything about Fortnite. I'm like, it's fun. ODYSEE is in contractual hell and definitely is not going to bend contract to come in and do this. So you're the only person on contract that we have. We need you to run this tournament. I was like, I don't know anything.
But no, that's not gonna happen anymore. So Jack Black has to go
So you're the only person on contract that we have. We need you to run this tournament. I was like, I don't know anything about Fortnite. I'm like, it's like, I don't know anything
It's Christmas. His parents are both miraculously happy.
about Fortnite.
Presents under the tree. But when Liam turns the corner, he's gonna find the greatest gift of all without even opening a single package. And that's his fucking
We need you to run this
brother,
tournament.
who's
I was like,
still alive.
I don't
That's right,
know.
brought his brother back from the dead. Yeah.
Like,
What? And the parents didn't even know that he was ever dead. So he mind wiped the parents, but they're still living in their new
I was like,
location, which
I don't know anything about Fortnite. I'm like, it's fine. All you have to do is toss to the casters. Which then I say, if I'm the producer of this, why the fuck am I using the G4 studio at all? Why not just put G4 branding on it and have, there's no reason to turn on the studio lights and to hire a full team and have me come in and go through makeup just to sit there in like, I think the the clip from that thing is like Fiona didn't know what a corn looked like. She had never seen corn, and so she had never
Here we go again. Fuck you. This is so bad. So
never seen corn, and so
across the board. Looks terrible. The music's trash. Again, they're not even trying.
they gave it to us 'cause it was supposed to be like a summer camp thing. And we were talking about like opening the corn. It has nothing to do with Fortnite. You could have completely killed all of that and just had it like opened on a living hold that has like G4 branding directly into the casters who are both remote. Have the production be
What the fuck?
casters who are both remote. Have the production being run by Nerd Street, who did like our third-party production for all of our tournaments, and then just like shipped that product. But they're like, no, let's spend the extra money to show off the studio that we don't need to do and force one of our hosts to be there to not talk about anything.
Why? Post Malone? Question mark? Is that really going to get you to watch the film? And adults should be seeing this going, wow, what a absolute joke of a movie. There's so much I glossed over too. Just
Oh my gosh.
every minute of
If
this
you're
movie
like,
is a
whoever's
chore.
making the decisions, it's like,
Absolute
what are the kids into? Oh, Frost, I think they're into D&D. They're into Critical Role. I've seen that. They do the Dungeons and Dragons. They talk. You should do that. Oh, Frost. Fortnite. The kids are into Fortnite. I was watching Avengers Endgame last night. They mentioned Fortnite. We should do Fortnite. It feels.
Ho ho. Holy shit. Why? Let me know if you saw
It just
it.
feels like-
Please comment. I'd like to hear
Fortnite.
your own
It feels.
experience. Maybe you gathered around the Christmas tree and watched this at Thanksgiving with the fam.
It just
Yeah.
feels like
Some people set their
people.
Christmas trees up early. We do. We started doing that. I don't know why. Corporate America, I guess, something like that. Please,
Like they mentioned
like the video
Fortnite.
and subscribe
We
if
should
you
do
haven't.
Fortnite.
Those movie
It
reviews
feels.
every single week.
It just
Yeah.
feels like
Small streamers
people.
to the big grand
They
films
just
like
don't know what they're
Moana and all
talking
the other
about.
stuff coming out in
Yeah.
between. If you
It
love
was
what
really-
I'm doing, maybe
Talk
think
about-
of a Thanksgiving gift or an early Christmas present for me by becoming a patron at patreon.com/AdamDoesMovies. I got a brand new vlog coming up on the channel
Okay.
exclusively for the larger tier members, but I'm always giving back on
Alright, I think that's enough for tonight.
anyone who signs up
Kids
to
are
the
into
$1
Fortnite. I was
tier
watching
gets access
Avengers
to over
Endgame last
360
night. They mentioned
videos,
Fortnite.
and the
We should do
perks just go
Fortnite.
up from there.
It
They
feels.
stack.
It just
Yeah.
feels like
That's all I got for
people.
you. Hopefully I see you next time.
They just don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah. It was really, really painful. Very, very painful.
Okay, so that actually.
I'm allowed to do race jokes because I'm actually half
Very,
Irish
very
and true
painful.
slaves, so it's fine. Irish people love telling people they're oppressed and no one gives a fuck. Irish people will be like, we were slaves, and everyone's like, you should tell that to people. Finding out Irish people might have been slaves is kind of like finding a counterfeit bill where you're like,
They're talking about.
"Ooh,
Yeah.
think I can use
It was
this
really,
for something?"
really painful. Very, very painful.
People are like, you can try.
Okay, so that actually does elucidate quite a bit. So when I did talk to people, when I did some recording, I could get some people to talk to me. Basically, it was that there were too many cooks in the kitchen, that they couldn't really be specific, but that there were too many people, maybe you don't want to call them executive producers, but with Comcast that were trying to make decisions, and people are like, cutting into each other, and so it was hard for any clear communication to actually what they wanted to do. And it sounds like you are sort of confirming some of that there were major issues with the company that were overseeing you guys. You guys are basically overworked in a very uncomfortable situation, being pushed far outside of your skill set, and it's not like you're getting paid more when you do a good job. Like this, this just does not sound like a fun job anyone really would want to work at.
It was really fun at the very.
Really would want to work at.
It was really fun. Throwing out all these ideas because everyone was like, "Oh, you'll get it." I was like, "No, you have to get this like those streams, like much smaller productions, usually like there are moments, and you actually get shit that people care about. You had like this movie all has begun, and like some of the teaching her like some of the it's like weird. It's good like did as soon as I got out of the house and through, I don't know who these people are. I don't know who these people are, but basically directly above where I was literally on, I think I was actually getting married. I was on vacation. Everything's fine. Like this whole week, everything was on fire. We didn't know.
I knew you weren't gonna like spicy curry bread is gonna make your thought.
A day to put it together. Go.
What if?
Second option, and whoever solves it first gets to keep Israel. Hey, I'm not going to apologize for solving both of Greta Thunberg's problems in one joke.
Your skill set, and it's not like you're getting paid more when you do a good job. Like this, this just does not sound like a fun job anyone really would want to work at.
It was really fun at the very beginning when we were in the beach house, and it was like very much like throwing out all these ideas because everyone was like, "Oh, you guys will get to decide what kind of content you're going to make." And like if you go back and watch like those streams, they're like much smaller production, but I think that you actually get like better moments and you actually get shit that people care about. You had like the segment where we were teaching Ovalie how to speed run in Metroid, and like teaching her like some of the, you know, it's like weird things like that. We had like an Activision skit that we did, but like as soon as we got out of Beach House and then expanded and grew, I don't know who these people are, but basically directly above are executive producers. So like my executive producers on X-Play would be Leffler, I think, and then Trey for esports, and then whoever was giving them their decisions. There was 1 week where I was literally on, I think I was actually getting married. I was on vacation, and during that entire week, I left one day. They decided that they were going to like kill all of X-Play, and then they went through multiple decisions. By the time that I got back, they're like, everything's fine. Like this whole week, everything was on fire. We didn't know what was happening, if we were gonna get killed, if we were completely redoing it, if we would have to do this. But as soon as I landed, they're like, nothing has changed. And it was constantly like that. It was constantly like budgets were changing. No one knew, when there was going to be like a solidified thing, so no one could make any like long-term plans, and you were constantly just like in a we need something right now, you have a day to put it together, go.
What a fun way to start, to start going on your wedding and honeymoon. Oh, by the way, you guys may or may not be fired. We can't really tell you. Have fun.
If you actually look at...
All right, that's all she wrote for tonight. I'm going to be back with a little game stream. I don't know what I'm going to play. I'll be back in FU, though. Maybe I'll get a bigger chunk of this done tomorrow. I went an hour and 40 minutes, and how far did I get in? I probably cut 30 minutes. Almost 2 hours, cut 30 minutes. I have an hour and 30 minutes left in the episode. So, I don't know. I'm getting there. It's getting there. But yeah, thanks for watching, motherfuckers. Like, subscribe, hit the bong for notification. Until next time, y'all make sure to stay metal and...
Death is great. He'll see me.
Fuck! Fuck! Fucking thing sucks! Fuck you!
Casual pill takers, 420 tokers, people obsessed with drinking, people obsessed with preening and primping themselves.
Hey, shut up! Shut the fuck up! Endless trash!
The Association for Retarded Citizens.
Why is there staring?
They didn't. All I said was shoot.
Fired out, man.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.